Cosmology, does it interest you? Well, it interests me quite a deal. I often find myself thinking about these things. These things that I think about, they lead to some place, and they make sense to me sometimes. They don't make sense to me sometimes. I have come to the uh, let's say I've deduced that what I'm going to talk about today is going to be a combination of uh, scientific concepts, findings, and of course my subjective view, because we've all grown up listening to things by virtue of our religion. It's not religion because I belong to a sect called Hinduism, and it's not a religion. It's just a way of life. If you want to follow it, you're still a Hindu. If you don't want to follow it, you're still a Hindu. So I wouldn't say that religion is the right word, because dharma, which is a Sanskrit word often misinterpreted as religion, is actually uh, the dictionary meaning of it is um, nature, nature of things. So we have been told about nature of different things, and if we agree with them, we follow what we have been told, and if we don't agree with it, we still won't be called anybody bad, because then of course there would be certain consequences. They're all scientific. So what I wanted to talk about today was, as I said, cosmology, plus what we have read in through folklores and through Upanishads, Vedas, and sages, seers who gave their account. All right. So this may be inconclusive, but everything has to be conclusive. Nothing comes to an absolute end. So this journey of knowledge, uh, which is completely subjective, but it makes sense to me. So people who are meant to come here and find something, find some nugget of mm, sensible things, can pick things up. So, uh, illustrations, like always. Here we are. Is it visible? Yes, it is. All right. So it has been often spoken about, not just by me, by many different people, that this universe was created. If we talk only in terms of science, it has a tendency to expand, and that's why it was created. And there's of course force that is connected to collapse, and there's force that's connected to expansion. And since the we exist, galaxies exist, it's a proof enough that the force of expansion, at least in this point of time and for a long period of time, as the force of expansion is greater. The force of expansion is greater than the force of collapse. So, if you haven't heard about this concept of black hole and white hole, here we are. See, let's imagine a pot with water in it, and you've put some leaf of tea leaves or coffee or whatever. You've put it into this pot, and it starts boiling. After a certain point, you'll see the leaves rotate. All right, because the holder is circular, so there is movement and it's circular. The galaxies are circular, so this is clear that whatever is holding us is circular in shape. Second thing is that since it has boundaries, things come back to the pit. That's why the centripetal force. Something is bringing back the things that had spread out or had expanded back to a point. Now this point is black hole. Everything falls back into it and keeps on going, funneling down up to a point which is point of singularity. Now since it's just a point, infinite density of matter, obviously it's occupying only that much space, a point space. And since There's no space occupied. Things are not changing as things change in our daily lives because there's space in it. If there was no space, we were constricted to a point. Would we be affected by time? Because time, if you say usually that I see time as a unit of change. What's time otherwise? When you notice change in things, you want to know what is the factor which is causing change in those things. So obviously at this point, space and time has constricted itself to a single point. That's event horizon. Why is it called event? Because all the matter that has congregated here, it disintegrates due to unimaginable pressure. And then, since the centripetal force, that is things that are condensing the all that matter to a point, not just condensing, constricting. This is the least. This is the most here. Centripetal point is most at this particular point. Just imagine it as our waist. Waists are narrow. Everything is happening there. The gut. It's the gut of the funnel that we see. All right. So the black hole uh, s- would push everything, all the matter that it attracts to itself here. And from here, since it can go nowhere else, there's too much pressure above, it gets pushed downwards. Now that's white hole because all the matter that was there has again found a vent and it spreads out like wild fire. Okay, it spreads out in all directions. I'll come to the that particular point later on. Now this is the second page in which I have written certain points. Like there's centripetal point, there's centrifugal points that I've already spoken about. So there are things that are throwing everything out there. Sorry, there's force that's throwing everything out there. There's force that's attracting everything towards a center, towards the pit. So centripetal force is attracting everything towards the pit. And the reason I feel, now this is completely subjective view, that there is a boundary of the universe. It's not infinite. Infinite is a word that we use until we actually find the boundaries. So it is infinite according to many people. I don't think so, because if there was space for the matter to spread furthermore, it would have. Why is it coming back to the galactic center? Is a proof enough that something is pushing the matter towards this central vortex. All right, this was the first point. The centripetal force is much higher than the centrifugal point at some point in time, and that's why things slip into that black hole. Now, does it remind you of something? It reminds me of Lord Shiva's Damru. So that's the funnel. Things get, things evolve, things get created, things devolve, things change, new there's a new beginning. There's a new beginning from the exit point of the white hole. All right, the second thing, which is why I call all this a subjective view, is I don't think that there is vacuum. There's matter all around. It's only that we have not been, or scientists have not been able to discover things that are smaller than quarks. But that doesn't mean that things that are smaller than quarks do not exist. They do. Leptons, etc., etc., they name it. They do exist. So there's ether that we usually get confused with as some kind of a medium which is surrounding us, and it's creating a curvature in the curvature is something that we'll talk about later. So it's creating all the planets and all the cosmic bodies um are stuck, are are fit into that wave of ether. That's curvature for you. All right. So yeah, what was I saying? I was saying that it's matter all around. At some places it is sparse, at some places it is abundant, but it is there. When when it has congregated, it has become planet. When there's less of matter, it's asteroid, comet, whatever, because the energy is so much, and they're self-sustaining their energy, so they're still moving about. They are they are bodies with a lot of wanderlust, so they're still moving around in the cosmos, but then they are all matter. There is matter which cannot be seen with our eyes, and there's matter which can never be seen by our eyes, and there's a lot of time for uh, for scientific instruments to gauge that there is something, but there is something. Even the photons, they must have something which we haven't been able to find until now. All right, they say that when when antimatter and matter they collide, photons are created, etc., etc. But then uh, it obviously does have some kind of a quality, some kind of a vector quality. So this is the first point, this is second point. The first point is, yes, there must be a boundary to the universe. That's why things go back into the pit. There, everything is matter. Everything, whether we are able to see or not, there's there, it's there. Third, and the magnetic field in that ether which is created could be, is something that people call spirit. That's a different matter. And then uh, things that we see having a certain shape or form, like you and me, the mosquitoes, the flies, the your dog, cats, everything, trees, everything, they have forms, and that form is actually the frozen form of the dance that was once created by matter in the frequency, and frequency is directly proportional to the energy. So Shiv and Shakti. All right, so there is this study called Cymatics, where they talk about the shapes that are created due to frequency, um, and how that you can find things about it on your own. But what I found was that when you introduce a certain frequency is a vibration, the energy level of vibration, that's frequency, through a matter, through any form of matter, be it solid, be it liquid, be it gases, there are shapes formed, and if we are able to capture that shape, that's our forms. One of the forms is us, how we are. There are zillions of forms that are created. So if a certain frequency is passed through, let's say, um, the solvent is solid, we will find, and if solid but not uh, not in clumps. All right, so if if you like sand, if you pass a certain frequency, you'll see with lower frequency haphazard form is formed. With higher frequency, let's say it is 56, so this form is formed at 111 hertz. This form is formed at 150, something more intricate, more uh, for me intriguing forms appear, they emerge. So this is all about the frequency. When the frequency is higher, intricate forms are formed. But what about the medium? This is sand. What if it is water? the axis is missing. See, all these things have its center in the center. But if what if the center was twisted? So the axis is yeah, the axis is jilly jally kinds. Like there is center is not able to hold itself. So the axis changes, but then the forms still appear. And those axes are even less prominent in gases. There is always a feeling of crest and trough and movement of sorts. So that is solvent. That is the solvent for you. Solute, solvent, and their dance is what the form is where the form takes shape. I wanted to mention this because it is a part of what I thought about uh, in the last few days, that I'm again making reference to a cell, to a cell which is a zygote, which takes shape of a certain kind. But a zygote is the same with all organisms on this planet. They all are the same until they're all torus shaped, a circular shape, a spherical shape which has an axis to it, and there's this energy flowing inside. After a few days, let's say 3 months or so, by the end until 3 months, the fetus starts taking shape. The torus energy, in a flow of energy, it breaks from certain point, and it becomes like a broken donut, and then it gets straighter and straighter. In our case, or in case of mammals. S- and then different toys in eyes of the creator, if there is a creator in the way we know it, they get formed. Different toys having different batteries, baby animals, fishes, reptiles, trees. So what I was trying to say was that the codes of how a particular shape will form is obviously evolution has devised, the process of evolution has devised, and that evolution can be connected with mythology or creator. Mm, but what I was trying to say was that in the initial few days everything is liquidish, so things are moving, not taking shape, but the frequency gets higher as we turn from one organism to the other. So as the frequency gets higher, so there is more intricate shape, and also the solvent gets more and more solidified. So if it is watery in the beginning, the solvent gets thicker, so the shape gets solidified, it gets frozen. Everything is so subjective, but then, or maybe it's not, maybe it's somewhere out there I haven't gone through. So this is the end of it. Coming back to the funnel shape, black hole and white hole, and the point of singularity, the event horizon. So when things get pushed out of the white hole, there is an explosion. There's so much energy with the force with it gets out. And the heavier objects, like everything, because they're just a few physical laws, and you can apply it everywhere, at the universal level, at the cosmos level, at our level, at microorganisms level. They're just a set number of physical laws, and they apply everywhere in the same way. So the heavier objects they deposit here at the bottom. The mid-range mid-range of heaviness density, it appears it reserves itself the place of this mid level, and the lighter objects they go up here. And obviously there is a altitude, and there is a uh, descent connected to even Earth, which is a part of the Milky Way galaxy, solar system of the Milky Way galaxy. There is not just east and west. There's also north and south. North we associate with God in mythology, and south we associate with darker world. And in a way, I see it contributing higher frequency because there's more energy in this lighter part of the universe, and it's lighter and it has more energy. It is lighter, that's why it is up here, and it has more energy because the potential energy, by virtue of being at a greater height, is highest, so it contributes higher frequency. And this particular portion, it contributes lower frequency, and the infrared and all the heavy mm, heavy wavelength electromagnetic waves come from here, and higher frequency wave, they come from here, and they merge with the visible light that we have, and it rotates in the middle portion, and that's how a Brahmand or a cosmic egg is formed. All right. So if it made sense, great. If it did not, we'll talk about it again. But the cardinal season has started. It's Libra season. Libra season, Capricorn season starts January, then May, which is it's a fixed sign. Aquarius, January. Let me just say, cardinal season is yeah, Libra season, uh, Capricorn. Then you have Aries, that's April, and then July, that's Cancer. So all these seasons are cardinal seasons. They are there to start something new. And I had been wallowing in a lot of buddhi vilas, or indulgence of mental activity. So I would like to shift my paradigm to something more concrete. I haven't quite touched economics for 4 5 months now. Let me just go through it. I don't even know how the economy is doing. I'm living in my own bubble, and I would like to familiarize myself with my surroundings because I'm still a part of this. So I got to know where I am and how are the things around me, so that the existence, for however long it stretches, is more informed and consequently wise. So let's just see how things pan out. I loved what I got to know, and I shared it with you. Right, bye.